Okay, I promise it's fine. So, the reason I'm going to play you some music is because this book is actually kind of what we've been working on already. It's nonfiction because it's about the life of a real girl. Yeah, and she grew up to be a musician. So I'm going to play you some of her music. And you're just going to think about, do you like the music? How does it make you feel? Does it seem sad? Does it seem happy?
Does it have to be a girl who sings?
It is, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
It's okay.
I get water bends.
Okay.
Your eyes get watery for some
Okay.
reason.
Now let's be at a voice level 0 so we can really hear the music, okay?
Happy. Like I'm in Hyrule Castle, Breath of the Wild.
So it seems kind of like fantasy. Okay.
It seems like a piano.
It is piano.
It creeps me out.
Piano.
Oh no.
Feels good.
Now it just sounds like one of those all the main things.
Mm.
It sounds like an intro to a Tin Can Man. Oh, it feels cringy.
How does it feel cringy? It doesn't feel
Why do you say
So it
cringy?
feels happy to you, Helena?
It sounds
Okay.
weird.
So that's all we're gonna play of it. But I'm gonna ask each of you. I heard Landon, and I heard a couple things from Helena. Alyssa, did it make you feel happy, sad? Uh-oh.
And then I feel like there's a break spot right there.
Good morning, everyone. Please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you so much. All right, boys and girls, you answered the call and brought in those cereal boxes. We are so thankful for all of those that you've brought in. If you brought any this morning, if you could send those down to the Wonder Lab, we are collecting all of those there and we'll get them all counted. And I think we are good on cereal boxes, so you don't have to bring any more in this week. But we are still collecting canned food. So in the front of the building, we do have a big box right outside of the office for canned food. We're doing a canned food drive through this Friday, November 10th. So if you have any canned goods at home, or if your parents are running to the grocery store and wanted to pick some up, you can drop those off in the box up in the front of the school. We hope everyone has a great day and is able to get out during recess and enjoy this beautiful weather.
So Alyssa, what did you think about the music?
I thought it was pretty happy, and then it started to feel like someone was running from something.
Oh, I really like that thought. So it kind of felt a little nervous at the end, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're nervous?
during the middle it made me, you know what I mean by weird out, you know? It sounds like, it's literally, I feel like that is just, they tried to make it non-copyright and that's what they used in Hyrule Castle and all those other games.
Well, it is a pretty old composition. Amina?
Happy.
What about you, Miriam? How did you think it felt?
I think it felt sad, I guess.
A little sad, okay. And then Landon, you said
Sounds like the music from Hyrule Kingdom. It kind of nervous me because I know if I go in there for too long,
Mhm.
something's just gonna jump scare me.
What about you,
Just, like,
Jackson?
around the house.
I had something I forgot.
Mhm.
Like, like the intro of a movie, like, if, like, something's running from something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would.
So I want you guys to keep your thoughts about that music in your head, because remember I said this was about a real girl. So we're gonna see if the kind of music she played and how it made you feel, if that kind of matches her life. So this book is called Dancing Hands.
Can I
How
read
to
it?
read? No, I'm gonna read it.
I'll read it.
Remember, this is my turn to share. I'll ask questions and that's your time to share. But when I read, it's just my time to share. How Teresa Carino played the piano for President Lincoln.
Ooh.
It is, I told you. Okay.
Ooh, Lincoln was 16.
It's time to listen. When Teresa was a little girl in Venezuela, Mama sang lullabies while Papa showed Teresita how to let her happy hands dance across all the beautiful dark and light keys of a piano. I love the illustrations in this book. I think they're really pretty.
Yeah.
I like the pictures.
At first, making music seemed magical, but Teresa soon learned that playing a piano could be hard work. Sometimes she had to struggle to make the stubborn music behave as she practiced gentle songs that sounded like colorful birds singing in the dark and light branches of a shade-dappled mango tree, and powerful songs that roared like prowling jaguars beside towering waterfalls like a mysterious green jungle. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be using SWBST, right? So I'm going to give you a strategy to help. Whenever you get to the someone, I want you to go ahead and put down your finger. So I think we already met the someone in this story.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put down one of my fingers.
Patricia?
Teresa.
Oh, I guessed right.
So I'm going to ask Jimena.
Yes.
Landon, is there something you've struggled with learning or doing, kind of like Teresa struggled with the piano at first? Like any subject that's hard in school or a hobby that you kind of had to learn?
Reading because I did not really know how to read because I knew more Spanish than English and I struggled, but I still went.
Yeah. Just like Teresa, I mean, you've persevered, obviously, because I think you're a great reader now from everything I've seen, so that's great. Okay, I'll ask you guys some questions later, but we're going to keep reading. If Teresa felt sad, music cheered her, and when she was happy, the piano helped her share bursts of joy. By the time she was 6, she could write her own songs, and at 7, she performed in the peaceful chapel of a magnificent cathedral, playing hymns that shimmered like hummingbirds. Music was Teresa's delight, but suddenly when she was 8, a war changed everything. Guns blazed, swords flashed, and poor Papa had to rush the whole family down to the seashore and onto a ship, into a storm where wind howled, waves rolled, barrels tumbled, ropes snapped, and clouds bucked and kicked across the wild sky like angry mules. So, like I said, illustrations are really great in this book. But this one has a lot of detail, and I think it means a lot when you kind of look deeper at the meaning.
Yeah.
So Jackson, what do you think? What do you see in this picture, and what do you think it means?
Face that means Patricia in the boat.
So you see Teresa's face in the water. How does she look?
Sad.
So you don't think so? Do you think this war is maybe making her nervous, sad?
I can explain it really good.
Okay.
So her face, it's representing that she's blue and she's kind of sad and nervous because of the war. And if you look really deep at it,
Mhm.
it looks like she's under the water.
Mhm.
But that water
Is blue.
is kind of
It is.
like the sadness that she's drowning her.
Wow. I really like that connection, Landon. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Okay. Good job. So, by the time the ship arrived in New York, Teresa felt lost. She was homesick. How could she ever play happy songs again in this unfamiliar country where she didn't know a single friend? Few people spoke Spanish, and all around her, curious strangers stared and whispered as if her whole family belonged in a museum of oddities. So, Do you think Teresa is just visiting New York, or do you think she's gonna move there?
Move there because of the war.
What do you guys think? You think she's gonna move there? What about
She's
you,
gonna
Miriam?
visit.
I think she's gonna stay.
You think she's gonna stay? Okay, we'll see.
Everyone thinks she's gonna visit.
Worst of all, there was fighting here too. So she left fighting in Venezuela, and then there's fighting in New York. The horrible Civil War, which I'm sure you guys have heard about the American Civil War. North battling South as soldiers marched and newspaper boys hollered about victories, defeats, funerals, and fears.
To think about it, the United States of America is
So
one of
she's
the
gonna
best, out of the best armies, and we pretty much were like the second best army back then. So her best bet would be to stay there.
So you think it would still be a good place for her to be?
Yeah, because
That guy's
and you have freedom.
That guy, he has a sword. How is he not dead? And how is he still alive?
Well, it's just an illustration. It's kind of, capturing one single moment.
He hasn't shot it yet. He's on a fortress doing this.
What do you think, Jimena? What do you think about this picture? Illustration.
I think that they are fighting.
They're fighting, and
Because that one has a sword.
I think they don't like each other.
They're
Okay.
enemies.
They look like they have the same uniforms on though, so that makes no sense.
yeah, I mean, the Civil War is kind of confusing because it was one nation that was fighting against each other. So we weren't fighting other people.
We
It was
fighting
internal.
ourselves.
We were fighting
South
ourselves.
America, North America.
South America and North America are continents, but like the southern United States and then northern United States, yeah.
Did the
Oh
Southern
my
lose?
gosh.
Yes,
We
it is.
were
Okay.
fighting.
Yes, okay, we'll talk about that later, but right now we really want to think about Teresa's life. I know the Civil War is really interesting, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it more in social studies.
I already know what it's about.
Okay. Without a new piano, Teresa would have felt even more lonely, but soon she discovered that wherever one is, some people are friendly, drawn together by songs. Musicians came to her home, playing along while they listened to the dazzling notes of her dancing hands. Determined to improve, Teresa practiced graceful waltzes and sonatas, booming symphonies and lively folk songs, her strong hands accepting the challenge of life's many dark and light moods.
That's a pretty picture.
Yeah. So it seems like it is really pretty, and the colors seem happy to me. I think playing the piano again is kind of making her feel better. People began to call her the Piano Girl. Her picture was in the newspaper and on posters advertising concerts where she performed with great orchestras that invited her to play solos. Teresa triumphed in enormous theaters where children clapped and cheered while their parents stood up and tossed roses.
How old was she? 2.
At this time, I don't know that it said, but she was a young girl, maybe around your age.
I'd say around 10 because it said 7 and actually the war might actually have been over, so say about 9.
Okay. We'll see. We might go back in the book after we're done and see if it mentioned her age again. So, with Papa at her side, she traveled to elegant cities, and by the time she was 10, the Piano Girl grew so famous that she received amazing invitations, including one so special she could hardly believe her eyes. President Abraham Lincoln wanted her to play for his whole family at the White House. So, Miriam, how would you feel if you got invited to the White House and to meet the president?
I invited
Would you feel like nervous, maybe? Kind of nervous? Would you be excited too? Kind of excited to see the president? Okay, I'll ask you more questions. Miriam hadn't had a chance yet. Nope, we're gonna keep reading. But the country was still at war, so Teresa arrived in Washington, D.C. at a time when freed slaves were signing up to be soldiers. The injured moaned and nurses groaned from the sheer weariness of caring for so many fevers and wounds. Not long ago, the president's young son had fallen sick and had died. Men argued about battles lost, battles won, speeches made, victory delayed. But Teresa began to worry. How can music soothe so much trouble? So she's thinking she's going to play for the president, but she knows he must be sad. He just lost his son. So can someone remind me, what president are they talking about? Which president lost his son? Jimena.
I should forgot.
Is it
I know.
Landon?
16th President Lincoln.
President Lincoln. Yeah, President Abraham Lincoln. Poor Abraham Lincoln. Teresa hoped she could entertain the president his grieving wife, and their 2 surviving sons. Her fingers might stumble, the rhythms emerging too slow or too fast. But Teresa was brave, and she believed in trying her best. So she entered the White House silently, clutching Papa's hand fiercely as they stepped into a room so red it looked like a storm or a sunrise.
She's small.
She was small.
Debbie.
Teresa remembered how it felt to be a homeless refugee, and how lonely she had been surrounded by strangers, Jackson, some of them rude and others kind. The memory of meeting past challenges now helped her fingers dance, celebrating the way life had turned out to be a mixture of all sorts of feelings, happy and sad. But the piano was poorly tuned, making her music sound ugly. What should she do? Refuse to play? She stopped, feeling discouraged, until Mr. Lincoln smiled kindly and asked for his favorite song, Listen to the Mockingbird. So what would you do right here in this point in the book if you were Teresa? If you were feeling like what you were doing wasn't going right, would you feel discouraged? I'm going to ask Alyssa and Jackson. Alyssa. Like if you were performing for the president, or you were meeting with the president and something wasn't going right, how would you feel?
Like a little bit
Embarrassed. What would you maybe try to do to fix it if you were her? Amanda, what would you try to fix?
I'll feel nervous
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just say something that is confident. I can just say that in my mind. I can say something like that feels good.
I like that. I like that idea. So if something's not going right, maybe you can try to fix it by calming yourself down, by having positive thoughts. Jackson, one last thought.
I'd be happy because it got messed up. I'd be happy because I still did it for the president.
That's a really good point. That's a good outlook. So even if something's going wrong, that doesn't mean everything's going wrong. You're still doing something really
Just
important.
fix the dang piano.
We'll see. Okay. Teresa knew she could play the lively piece even on an imperfect piano, Landon. So her fingers leaped across all the glorious dark and light keys, improvising the way mockingbirds do, the melody changing as she went along. Music swirled, twirled, and soared on wings of sound. The president listened quietly to notes that rose, swayed, rippled, and dipped like a bird in a blue sky above a green forest. He closed his eyes, nodded his head, stretched his long fingers, and tapped the tips of his tiny shoes. So to me, in this illustration, it really does look like the music is just happy, and it's making both of them happy. These bright colors kind of make me think that. What do you think, Mena? You like this illustration? Does it look happy to you? When the joyful song ended, Abe Lincoln stood up and clapped, smiling at the piano girl, who smiled too, because she knew that her music had brought comfort to a grieving family, at least for one brief, wonderful evening of dancing hands. So, how did Teresa use her musical talent? Landon.
For the president.
And what did it do for the president? How did it make him feel?
Made-
Jackson.
Happy
It made him feel happy.
because it's hot, sad.
Okay,
Or his
from then on, we're almost finished. From then on, Teresa felt certain she would always be bold enough to share her musical courage anywhere in the world, simply by letting her fingers travel across all the beautiful dark and light moments of hope. So, how do you think your life compares to Teresa's? When I say compares, what is the same about your life and Teresa's, and what is different? Amanda.
Sometimes you feel nervous like she does, like when something's hard, and sometimes you get confused, but everybody does mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes. A lot of people, we all feel like Teresa does sometimes, like maybe nervous, scared, like we've messed up. Landon. Oh, that was just the computer. Landon.
I do not play any real instruments, but if video gaming was an instrument, I could go through a lot of high and lows and rage a lot.
I would be surprised.
I almost rage quit pretty much every single time I died because in Tears of the Kingdom there was this one boss.
Mhm.
It was impossible.
So you get a little discouraged, maybe a little frustrated, like you
Yeah.
think Teresa got, and Jackson.
Then we played baseball
Mhm.
because we had a tournament like 2 weeks ago, and a week before, and a week before.
Mhm.
Because then we played a prospects team. They
Mhm.
were really good.
They're really good.
They weren't that good. And with last game, we beat a team, like I think 21-0.
Mhm.
And then for some reason this game we got beat 4-2 or 3.
Mm.
And it was before the championship game.
Yeah.
And then people that are in the championship game were not very good.
So I'm hearing that a lot of you felt like kind of discouraged, like Teresa felt a little bit when she felt like things weren't going right with the piano, or maybe when she was moving. Have any of you ever moved and felt nervous about moving like Teresa did? No.
I wasn't allowed when they moved.
Okay. So now we're gonna talk about summarizing. So remember, I know that we've used the somebody wanted but so then, and I talked about how we could keep track on our fingers. So I'm gonna put a finger down because I think I know who the main character of the story is. Can someone tell me the name of the main character of the story? Teresa. Teresa's our main character. What do you think Teresa wanted in the story? Before she even moved, what did she just want to do most? Jimena, what do you think she wanted to do the most? Play the piano. I would agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah, you can show Jimena you agree. Alyssa. But what happened? What's the problem? Somebody wanted, but what happened? Why couldn't she just keep playing the piano where she was?
Because there was a war happening where she lived.
Okay, man, you
And
guys
she
are.
had to go on
First
the
World
boat
War.
and move.
So I think that's great. I think Alyssa just helped us out with the so too. So Jackson told me our someone is Teresa. She wanted to play the piano in her home, maybe? Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Teresa is a main character.
She is.
And what you
Somebody, Teresa, wanted to play the piano in her home, and Alyssa said, but there was a war in her home country. Does anyone remember what country she's from originally? It's kind of a hard
It
one.
started with like an A something.
Starts with a V.
Venezuela.
Venezuela. Yes, and where did she move to? Where did she move to?
USA.
She did. She moved to the USA.
USA.
So far this is what we have. Somebody, Teresa, wanted to play the piano in her home, but there was a war in her home country. Now, Miriam, Jimena, Alyssa, I want you guys to group up and work on the so and then Landon and Jackson, I want you to work on the so and then we're gonna work on that for a few minutes, and then you'll tell me your ideas, okay? So basically, how does the conflict get resolved and how does the book end? That's what we're focusing
Wait,
on.
did we finish it?
We finished the book.
did?
Yep.
What time is it?
No, we're not done yet. We're gonna keep working in here.
Jackson.
So, no, Landon and Jackson, I want you to stay at this table. You just scoot your chair over by Jackson's. Yes, I'm
Your
sorry.
chair was on mine.
No, but it's
Okay.
closer.
I'm sorry. I'm sure someone's going, hey, Miriam, will you scoot down by Jimena and Alyssa so you can talk about the so and the then? So remember, our so is kind of, so something happened, the but is our problem. So is kind of how it gets resolved, and then is how the book ends. How did the book end? Okay? So we're gonna work on that for a few minutes.
I thought it was gonna be everybody does one.
Nope.
I thought
Okay.
it was gonna be a whole
You guys are gonna work together? No, we're gonna be back in time. Okay, guys, keep talking. I wanna hear everyone's idea for so and then.
So She moved to the USA. No, and then got a piano. She moved to New York City, and then she got a new piano. So she moved to New York.
But that one was old.
Then she got a new piano,
And then
played for the president.
And then invited her to the White House.
She continued
and,
playing.
to
And
the
then
radio
she-
and another province.
No, and then she was encouraged to have courage.
Okay. I'm hearing a lot of good ideas, so I think we might be ready. Let's try and wrap up. And are you guys ready right now? Do I need to do a countdown?
No.
Okay. So I want to hear this group. What did you say for so? So somebody, Teresa, wanted to play the piano in her home, but there was a war in her home country. So
She moved to New York City, got a new piano, and started to play it again.
is that also, or is that your so in your then?
So
Okay. What did you guys say for so? So there was a war in her home country. So
There was another war, and then they went to another one, and then she got her piano,
Mhm.
and then Abraham Lincoln invited her to play the piano, and then another program started.
yeah. See, I like what Jimena said. She said it seemed like there was kind of more than one problem. So there was a war in Venezuela, but then there was also a war in New York. But just to make this easier, so we're only doing one SWBST. I'm gonna say our so, because I think you guys both mentioned this, is that she moved. There was a war in her home country, so she moved to a new place, right? So she moved to New York. Then, this is how our story wraps up. Then Jackson.
Then she developed, and then she played with her president.
Okay.
Whenever his son passed away.
Okay. And what
And
about
then
you?
I have a better
And
description.
then she,
I think that's
and
fine.
then she was encouraged about being courage.
I like that. What about you guys? What about your then? I'll try and combine the two.
It was a huge idea.
You try this. Mary, you can do.
Okay. The state was top.
And so, like, how did the book end? Did you think? What was Teresa doing at the very end of the book?
She was playing the piano, and then she suddenly messed up in an accident,
Mm-hmm.
and then Abraham Lincoln told her to one of the songs that's his favorite song, and then she didn't mess up.
So I'm going to put that all into one point. So kind of what we're talking about when we talk about main idea during a reading, I'm going to kind of condense it into one sentence. So our then is that then Teresa played the piano for the president and maybe gained courage, like Jackson said. I liked that word. I think that our book used that word too, and gained courage. So I'm going to read it all together, and I'm not going to use the words, I'm not going to use SWBST every time like before, because I'm going to try and make it one smooth summary. So I'm going to say, Teresa wanted to play the piano in her home, but there was a war in her home country. So she moved to New York, and then Teresa played the piano for President Lincoln and gained courage. I think that's a pretty good summary of the book we just read. But here's what I want you guys to do. Everyone is going to get a worksheet. This is called a story wheel. And what you're going to do is you're going to notice that on the story wheel, Mary, you can move back to the end of the table so you can have something to draw on. There's 5 sections, just like the 5 sections in SWBST. So,
Where's the pencil?
yes, I'm here. There's some right back here.
Here's the color pencil.
So, we're just going to do our drawings with regular pencil, and then later, if we have time, we'll color in with colored pencil. So, I want you to put your name, of course. I want you to put your names where it says names. And then I'm gonna show you. So Miriam, can I show them on your paper? Okay, so I'm gonna put S, W, B, S, T. So I'm gonna go around and label it like that.
Wait, you're gonna do it too?
You see it do you see it, Jackson?
Somebody wanted.
I'm gonna start in this one and go around this way. S, W, B, S, T. Okay? And then I want you to draw a picture. I want you to draw a picture of what we talked about. So in someone, you can draw a picture of Teresa. Maybe you can draw a picture of playing the piano. And then wanted.
I forget which one was mine. Somebody.
Here.
Yeah.
You ready? It's somebody wanted, but here, it's okay.
Somebody wanted but so big.
Yeah, you can start right there. It's okay. As long as it's labeled and I know.
Do we have to put our hair?
Yes.
There you go.
That's your someone. Okay, now go ahead and do your wanted.
Let me draw.
These don't have to be perfect pictures.
Wait, can I
I can't draw perfect pictures.
What if you can? So you just decide to.
want to see the book?
Oh, were you looking at it?
Mm-hmm.
We can
Stole
share.
it from me.
She won stuff like piano. It's just the same picture.
Can you maybe try drawing her with the piano in that picture?
I did it in both.
Oh, you did it in both? That's fine.
It's the exact same picture.
Yeah, because our wanted is kind of explaining more about our main character, so that makes sense why it would kind of be similar. How's it going, Miriam?
Good.
Good.
Did you have to do this for your last class?
For my last class? No, I didn't. I taught other lessons for them. But in kindergarten, they're not summarizing stories yet. That's a third grade thing.
And they aren't reading books about war.
Hmm?
And they aren't reading books about war.
Yeah.
They probably get like books about bees. Like those little bees and those little TV shows.
Okay, keep going, guys.
I shot.
So if you want any ideas maybe about if you're getting to her moving to New York this when I think of New York, I think of really tall buildings called skyscrapers. So maybe that would help you know that it's New York if you put some tall buildings and put Teresa there, maybe with a couple members of her family. That would help. I think that would help show.
Tricks like a clown.
So I'm gonna draw a giant building.
I actually make a tree so kind of clown. A clown with 4 feet.
I think I did it too.
So I want you guys to keep drawing. I know you're doing your best. That's all I care about. While you guys keep drawing, I thought I would talk a little bit about Teresa with you. So, what do you think of Teresa? Do you think she's brave for what she did?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty brave. Because if you screw up, I mean, there's the president.
Yeah, that's a really big ask to do something for the president. It would make me really nervous, and especially doing it that young. I would be nervous to play for the president right now.
Unless
I'm a
it's
lot
video
older than
games. If
Teresa
I was
was.
asked to play video games for the president,
That'd be.
I would say, heck yes.
You would agree?
I'd say yes.
I'd
Yes.
get to and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So then, is this her playing at the White House with all like the stars? Oh, I love it. Miriam, you're such a great artist. What about, can you just draw Teresa here and then maybe Teresa with a piano right here? Awesome. I could definitely tell. I knew what you were going for with all the stars. I could see the piano.
This is probably perfect.
Now yours.
I can tell she's playing the piano for sure. Yeah. Somebody wanted, so she's wanting to play the piano again.
That's her hometown.
Oh, so she wanted to play in her hometown.
Yeah, and that's a piano.
Okay,
Playing the piano
awesome.
in the town.
Okay. But what happened? Awesome. So let's say she wanted to maybe play in her hometown or her home country or stay in her home country. So what do you think that picture would look like? How's it going? Oh, it looks like you're almost done, Landon.
Yeah.
You guys are doing really good. But
That's what Squidward does.
Mm.
Oh, no. No, it was perfect. Let's erase it. I didn't.
it's okay, you can erase if you want to.
That was my first one.
I love it. Very detailed.
I put the details for the piano.
What did you guys think about the illustrations in the book? Do you like them? I felt like they showed a lot of emotion. Like something that Landon mentioned was in the picture where they're on a ship moving to New York. I feel like the colors really said a lot about how Teresa was feeling. Like Landon said, the blue kind of showed that she was blue or kind of sad.
Drowning.
And then when she was playing piano, what kind of colors were there? Were they kind of bright?
Yeah, they were in pink and sometimes blue and
Mm-hmm.
yellow
Mhm.
and green.
The illustrations to me almost made don't do that. The illustrations to me almost made it seem like the music kind of floated through the air. The way the kind of colors went like
Yeah.
this.
I can see that.
Mhm.
I can see that.
Can have like her and her dad.
Yeah, you can draw. We did just kind of, for review, we did an SWBST together, but I think you guys really understood the story, so if you want to change your picture a little bit, go ahead. As long as you can point to something in the text that shows that did happen.
Oh, yeah, it does show like notes.
Mm-hmm.
It shows TT.
I don't know
I don't know what that one is.
I love that
It's just a
illustration.
decapitated head.
Okay, we're gonna work on this for about
5 more hours.
7 more minutes.
I'm already done, so.
Okay.
Hour.
So Landon, since you're already done, I have a little task for you.
I'll do
I
that.
want you to, once you're done, you can do it. I want you to turn to the back. I'm gonna write
A summary?
S W
Okay, never mind. I don't want to do task.
S T for you, and I want you to put it in your own words. Obviously, the Teresa can be the same, but I want you to put it in your own words since you have some extra time.
I don't know how to spell Teresa, so that's gonna be okay.
It's Teresa.
T-E-R. What? And who cares if I spell it right?
Are you done with your story book? Okay, why don't you finish real quick because you're almost done. Okay, we only have about 5 more minutes.
You said once we're done,
I know you guys are
can
putting a
color.
lot. Huh?
You said once you're done, you can color.
Well, maybe in the room. We don't have our colored pencils and our markers in here.
Dang it.
So, Landon, what could be another wanted? What could be something else you wanted in the story?
To be happy.
Do you want to be happy?
It's a live.
Are you sure she wanted to live?
Maybe.
Who would want to live in war?
Me.
Then you are weird.
So maybe you could say she wanted to live in a peaceful place.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. My guy's face looks like a finger.
Jackson, what's your first picture?
Trees are playing piano.
This is mine.
I like it.
I put the details on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just made like a square right here.
5 more minutes. So I know you guys are working so hard on these pictures, but I don't want you to miss too much of reading. So
But
if you need to make them a little bit simpler, that's completely fine.
there was
A word.
silver.
Our favorite word.
I'm gonna work on this tomorrow.
Word in it.
This,
We were never single.
we will keep working in tier 2
That we
groups.
know about.
We will keep working in tier 2 groups on some of the things we did yesterday, like problem solution, summarizing. But this lesson right here with this book, we will work
Can I go to
on.
the bathroom?
Just one day. Yes, you may.
Can I come back? Yeah.
Yes.
And tier 2.
Mhm.
I guess that I'm in the best class because she said that you guys are the best ones. So
Okay.
I don't know
But-
if that one's in my group.
But
Do I go for the sighting?
yeah.
Why is there famous people everywhere? Then Renardo.
Or Alyssa, if you don't feel like you have time to do the pictures right now, you can write in what we put on But So Then and then draw the pictures later and show it to me. Does that work? Yeah, just like Amanda's doing. Somebody, Teresa, wanted to play the piano. What's your butt? Are they fighting in this picture?
I literally just draw a bullet out of a gun. What? I'm not creepy.
Oh, let's not talk about the school. Yeah, I love the illustrations you guys were doing. I just didn't want you to miss too much of reading, but like I said, maybe during tier 3 time, you guys can go ahead and finish those pictures. I'm sure Miss Show would be great with that. So Miriam, are these stars representing that like she's in the U.S. when the fighting is happening? Mhm. Who's that? Do you know who that is? Okay. Are they holding something? What are they holding?
A microphone.
A microphone. Oh, putting USA. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Landon. So, this is what Landon put in his own words. He said, Teresa wanted to be happy, but she had to move. Is that it? She had to move?
Mhm.
So, she got a new piano. Is that piano? Then she played for the president. That's perfect. And I know that the story can support that.
It's either coming in or stay out. It's
Do you
either
have other
coming in or
people?
stay out. So
Okay.
now we do. I'm already done, so I
Just
don't
say
know.
do not touch.
Okay.
Just say do
We're about, nope. Get over here. Sit down.
not. I'm already two.
I know, but sit down.
Can I take a timer?
Nope.
We've done this for 43 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah!
We're almost done.
That was 43 minutes?
Did it seem shorter than that? Oh, Landon, I need you to sit down. I need you to show some self-control.
We've already done reading.
I need you to show some
We're
self-control.
doing math right now.
They're doing math? Okay, sit down.
Just kidding.
I'm like, that's a little early.
But they're
Okay.
doing reading already.
I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna collect your papers.
She's accidentally done. What the heck?
If you still want to work on your illustrations during tier, back over there.
Okay.
If you still want to work on your illustrations during tier 3 time, Jackson and Landon, I know you were done, and Miriam, I know you were done. You can be here.
What's tier 3?
It's that time right after recess. That's the official name of it. Okay, so I need everyone to sit back down really quickly before we go back.
Oh.
Sit down, Jackson. Sit down. Okay, we need to get a voice level 0 in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there's 5 of us. So what I'm going to do, really quickly before we go back,
There's 6 of us.
well, including me, there's 6, but there's 5 of you. So I'm going to go around,
There's 5 kids.
and I'm going to start with Miriam. Miriam's going to tell us our somebody. Landon, wanted, Jackson, but, so, then. But I want you to kind of come up with your own, like Landon did. Teresa, obviously, our someone can be the same. So, Miriam, who is our someone
Our someone is
in this book? Teresa. Landon, what does she want?
to be.
Jackson, but what happened? Why don't you
There
be
was a
happy?
war in her home, and she had to go because she didn't want to get what happened to her, to Abraham
Didn't want
Lincoln's
to
kid.
get.
So she didn't want to get hurt.
She didn't want to get decapitated.
Oh,
She
let's
didn't
not use
wanna
those words at school. So she just didn't want to get hurt. So somebody wanted, but, so we have to listen to Alyssa. We need to be at a voice level 0 so we can listen to Alyssa. So Miriam said, Teresa wanted to be happy, but there was a war in her home country.
She didn't want to.
So what does she do, Alyssa?
He moved to New York.
And then, Jimena, how does the book wrap up, boys? Jimena, what's our then? So she moved to New York, then,
Then she got a new piano.
Mhm.
And Abraham Lincoln invited her to the White House. And she played the piano, and then she played Abraham Lincoln's favorite song because his son.
yeah, so to make him happy because of his son, because he was sad. Okay. I think you guys did a great job. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
We can go back to class now.
Yes.
Oh, but wait, Landon, before you go out, remember, there